Hello everyone, it's been some time and I've missed you all. Spring is right around the corner, so today's video I'll be reading 5 true spring break horror stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. So this happened 4 years ago when I was 15. It was my sophomore year of high school, and one of my friends, we'll call Alex, invited me to go camping over spring break with her family. Mom, dad, baby brother, and sister. And another friend we'll call Sam. My entire life I've always had paranormal experiences, and so did Alex, so we bonded over this. But Sam didn't believe in ghosts. So we're at this campsite and it's time for bed. Alex, Sam, and I share a tent, while Alex's parents share a tent with the little siblings who are both under 5. Sam fell asleep quickly, but Alex and I are having a bit more trouble because our tent was very close to the campsite graveyard. At one point, it felt as though someone came over and was shaking our tent really hard. It wasn't the wind and it wasn't her parents. The rest of the camping trip goes by and nothing too creepy happens, except swings that would swing by themselves. But nothing else happened until the morning we left. Sam and I were getting ready together in the campsite bathroom, which was up on the dirt path from our tents. Then it sounded like someone was walking up the dirt path and stopped right in front of the door. Whoever walked up then let out a very shallow, ragged breath, and then a voice that honestly didn't even sound human. It said, "I see you." Both the breath and what the thing said echoed throughout the bathroom. Sam and I looked at each other, obviously scared as hell, grabbed our stuff, and decided to make a break for it. But when we opened the door, nobody was there. In the dirt path, you could only see 2 pairs of footprints, Sam and mine. We still ran back to where Alex and her family were, and they were finishing packing up the supplies. We asked all of them if they played a prank on us, and they all said no. Alex's dad then told us on the last day of the trip, literally as we were leaving, "Oh yeah, apparently this campsite is haunted. I saw it online." And now Sam believes in ghosts. I was home from college on spring break and visiting my sister who lived a few miles away from my parents' house. It was already dark out and me and her were catching up. We're sitting in her living room talking when suddenly I get a phone call from my younger brother. "Are you locked outside?" he asked me in a worried tone of voice. "No, I'm still at our sister's place," I replied, confused. "Are you sure? Because I swear me and Mom just saw you shaking the door handle and then walk off the porch," my brother replied. My sister mouthed the word, "What?" So I held the phone away from my ear and put it on speaker for her to hear. "What did you see?" I asked. He replied, "I just saw you walking through the yard after you couldn't get in. I saw your purple jacket and I swear her hair was pinkish purple at the end, just like yours." I got my hair cut a while ago. There's no more color." "Oh," he replied. My sister chimed in, "Lock all the doors, stay away from the windows." She looks at me, "And you're staying here in case they see it again." I hung up the phone. That jacket, by the way, it was 175 miles away in my dorm room. I used to live in New York, and in 2012 I was in college down in Virginia, so I came home for spring break to visit my parents and girlfriend at the time. We were walking around some part of the NYU area when I got this horrible feeling I couldn't explain. A very dark feeling. I wanted to get away from that area because I felt so uncomfortable. As I was walking down the street quickly with my family yelling at me to slow down, I saw the figure of a teenage girl. I knew she was out of place by the clothes she wore, a long ankle-length skirt and a sheer white blouse kind of top. Her hair was in some kind of updo. Her lips were moving like she was trying to say something, gesturing with her hands. I could only see her profile, and then her head turned, and half her face was covered in terrible burns. This, needless to say, freaked me out, and I got the hell away with my girlfriend being pissed because I was very good at darting through crowds. Given that I was a history major, I guessed her clothes were Victorian, so I decided to do a little research into the area. I was walking by an NYU biology building that used to be home to the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, where there was a fire in 1911. Apparently they commemorate the victims of the fire every year, so 2 years later on another visit home, I attended the ceremony, and it was very moving, but the experience left me shaken. This happened back around 2006, before smartphones. I had a camera that had a memory card, and me and my friends would go to Walmart to upload them on the picture printing machine. One spring break, I went to Walmart with a friend to print out pics, and we noticed one of the pictures was not like the others. It looked too old to have been taken by a digital camera. Just based on the clothes that people were wearing, it was a lady holding a little boy on her hip, and the era reminded me of the late 50s as the clothes were very retro. Both just staring into the camera with zero emotion. I'll never forget their gaze, and how they had the exact same eyes. I clicked on the pic to make it bigger, and my friend turned her head away. An employee came by and said the machine just wasn't working properly. He took us to another machine and it was still there, in between pictures that I had taken, and it was numbered as if I took the picture. My friend and I chose the pics we wanted and had them printed and left. I tried talking to her about how weird it was later, but she didn't want to talk about it. The first time I ever saw a little black cat was at 7 years old. My family had moved from a small trailer into our first house, the house where I would spend the rest of my childhood. It was nearly 2 months after our move, and we had just finished getting settled in. Now I should mention that I am an only child, and often my mom would let me bring my toys to the living room with her so that I wouldn't be lonely. One evening she was doing some light spring cleaning, and I was in the living room playing. I took a break from playing to sit in our rocking chair, which was facing the hallway. As I sit down, something catches my eye at the end of the hallway. A little black cat is rubbing against the trim at where my mom's bedroom would have been. I could see its furry black body and its pretty powdery blue eyes as it looked up boredly at me, in a fashion that all cats do. As a 7-year-old who absolutely adored animals but had none of her own, I started off down the hallway to catch the little cat. As I reached my mom's room, I saw this cat disappear farther into her room. So I spent the next 5 minutes or so calling for it. My mom, who was, by this time, ready to start cleaning her bedroom, asked me what I was looking for. I told her a little black cat. Concerned about having an unknown animal in the house, we looked around her bedroom and thoroughly inspected the house. The little black cat was completely gone. My mom even checked out the door trim to see if she could find any hair left from it, but found none. There was no trace of a cat anywhere. A few years later, when we had completely forgotten about the cat, my 6-year-old cousin was visiting for the weekend. On that weekend, she also claimed to have seen a black cat in the kitchen. I had never told her anything about what I saw, and she was pretty adamant that there was a cat in the kitchen. She even cried when my mom told her to stay out the kitchen because she wanted to pet it. Since then, I have seen the cat slinking around corners of the house on random occasions, and have thusly named him Midnight. Do you have any spring break horror stories? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Stay spooky, everyone.